Go ahead, Mr. Sechrest.
All right, welcome to our March school board meeting. I would just ask that if you have TVs or anything else in the background, please try to mute them so we do not have any interference. With tonight, we are going to start off with our board secretary taking a roll call. So, Maureen?
Mr. Barnett?
Here.
Mrs. Eichelberger?
Here.
Mr. Halaki?
Here.
Mrs. Hoveter?
Here.
Mrs. Markle?
What did I do? Hit him in the head.
Dr. McLean?
Here.
Mr. Rudy?
Stop.
Is that here?
Joe's here.
Okay. Mrs. Schaefer?
Here.
Mr. Sechrest?
Here.
That's the biggest home run you've probably ever hit. That's what you need.
Okay, we're getting a lot of background noise, kids talking. So if we could please just try to limit that or eliminate it actually, because it's making it very difficult. So we will get the meeting started by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Tonight, all votes will be by roll call vote. And I'm going to ask you, for Maureen's sake, to go third party on this. So if you are making a motion, just say, this is Greg Halatke and I have moved to, and then if you second it, just say your name and say that you're seconding that vote or that motion.
Thank you.
Okay? So I would accept a motion for item D.
This is Ann Hoveter, so moved.
Oh, this is Greg Halaki, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say, oh, sorry, roll call. Go ahead.
Mr. Barnett?
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger?
Yes.
Mr. Halaki?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoveter?
Yes.
Mrs. Markle? Not yet. Dr. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Sechrest?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. I would accept a motion for item E.
So moved.
Can I keep my rack saver by you?
All right.
All right. Shh.
Did we get a second on that?
This is Ann Hoveter. I'll second.
Thank
That was
you.
Beth who
I got it.
Yeah,
Okay, we have a
sorry.
motion and a second. Any discussion?
I second.
Hearing none,
I
we
second.
will take the roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett?
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger?
Yes.
Mr. Halaki?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoveter?
Yes.
Dr. McLean?
Yes, sorry, I muted it.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Sechrest?
Yes. All right. And I would accept a motion for item F.
This is Patricia Schaefer. I approve to approve agenda as presented.
This is Ann Hoveter. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussions? Hearing none, we'll go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett?
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger?
Yes.
Mr. Halaki?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoveter?
Yes.
Dr. McLean?
Yes, sorry.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Sechrest?
Yes. Okay, motion carries. Now is our time for recognition of the public. We would ask that you please identify yourself, give your name, address for the record. Citizens' comments or questions are welcome with a limit of 5 minutes per presenter. Questions and comments concerning individual staff members, students, or your own children's problems will not be addressed in a public meeting. Your comments will be given consideration by the board. However, the board may choose to not provide a response on your issue this evening. So, does anyone have anything they would like to say? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to reports. Dr. Eschbach.
Okay, just a few things that I'd like to report. First of all, there is a school code bill that has made it through the Appropriations Committee of the House and is now set to be voted on tomorrow by the full House and after that, hopefully the Senate. That school code bill addresses many issues that schools have been questioning and that we've been asking for relief on, information such as the 180-day requirement, information as to how our staff should be paid when we're not in school, and so much more. Issues on transportation, issues on cyber and charter schools and how we're charged for that. So just a lot of different things that are being are in that bill. So really encourage you. I know our Senator Regan and Representative Kiefer have been supportive, have signed on to those bills, and we truly appreciate that and expect that we'll see some much needed relief. Also wanted to say that, right now what the governor put out as far as when schools will reopen, his statement was, and then what came out from the Department of Education was somewhat confusing. But this is what we know, that schools are now officially closed until April 6th. According to the governor, the schools may reopen for staff on the 7th and for students on the 9th. Now, April 9th is a day that we are normally scheduled to be off because of Easter break. It's the day before Good Friday. We are also scheduled to have Monday, the 13th, off because of Easter break as well. My proposal right now is going to be that we stick with the school calendar, including those days that we have marked as a vacation day, and that Northern plan to come back to school on Tuesday, April 14th. And we can have some more discussion about that under new business if that's necessary. But I don't think anything has to occur from a board perspective since that calendar has already occurred. So if you would like to change that in some way, shape, or form, if you feel that we should be coming back the 9th or coming back on Monday the 13th, then that would require a change in that calendar, and we need to address that. At this point, I just want to turn it over to Jason Beals and let him give you some updates on some things that are going on in his world.
Yes, thanks, Dr. Eschbach. So yes, certainly one of the things that we had discussed at the last committee meeting was during this time of trying to provide continuity of education and what that may look like. We have been using Schoology at our secondary level. I did share out, and I believe Maureen emailed this afternoon, just some data that I collected looking at the first week of the 16th through the 24th here of March, looking to see the utilization of the resources that we have pushed out to parents, families, and students. I've been fairly pleased with what we see. Hopefully you'll have a chance to review that data. I provided that to the board this afternoon. I think two highlights that stuck out to me were the high levels of student usage of the apps that we do have available, as well as the several logins that we've had with teachers, just highlighting the middle school and high school, looking at last Monday and Wednesday, an awful lot of work being done during this quote unquote closure by both students and staff. And I just want to thank our teachers and staff that have been flexible with what we've asked them to do, and students and families that have tried to make this experience as best as possible for their children. So just wanted to provide some context to what we've been working on. Patan and the IU is providing more resources to us. Well, we received some notification today about what we may have to do for continuity of programming. And we'll continue to look at that and try to adjust as the environment changes. So just a little bit what's been going on from curriculum instruction. Certainly our principals continue to try to keep our parents informed through Blackboard Connect and be able to share out resources that are those enrichment activities. And we continue to weigh the positives and negatives of moving to more of a remote instruction. Thank you.
Mr. Burrell, I think, is also on and wanted to share some things. Dave, are you there?
Yeah, I am, Dr. Eschbach. From a special ed standpoint, even though schools were closed, timelines still had to be met. So I'd just like to give a shout out to our teaching staff, our professional staff, our building administrators. They've been scheduling and holding meetings throughout the past week to meet the deadlines and keep us in compliance special ed wise. Information is changing every day, but I think we're in a pretty good situation right now. And I have to commend the teaching staff and the building principals and the community and parents and students to find times to meet to keep us in compliance. So it's been a busy week on our end, just meeting with the families and ensuring that our education plans are being fully created and implemented. So I just wanted to share that.
I just want to thank all of the administrative staff and as well as all of our teachers and staff members for the amount of time and effort that they're putting into this. I can say that everybody is working. There's not free time on our end, and I appreciate the work of all of these people. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Eschbach. And I just also want to thank all the administrators for everything you're going through. You had no training for this, so I appreciate everything that you folks are doing. Okay, student liaison. Is Zachary with us?
I do not see him on the list of check-ins.
Okay, alrighty. Then we'll move on. Intermunicipal reports. Anyone have anything to report in that regard? Okay, I will say that to our Carroll Township folks, there were some zoning meetings planned. Now, they've all been postponed, but in reading about that in the banner, if any of you are interested, once they're rescheduled and attending, I wouldn't mind tagging along. But I think those meetings could have an impact on our district. All right. CAIU, Mrs. Schaefer.
Well, all I have to report is that they're on the same track as you are here.
Okay.
And that our meeting is canceled also for Thursday, coming Thursday.
Okay, thank you. All right, VOTEC, Mrs. Eichelberger, anything to report?
We did not have a meeting this month, but again, they're on the same page as we are with opening school.
Okay, thank you. Polar Bear Foundation, Dr. McLean, anything for you to report?
Yeah, we had a virtual meeting last Wednesday, and we talked about a number of things, partnering, helping out with the community in any way that we can as a Polar Bear Foundation, and one of them was helping the partnership with New Hope Ministries to help the members in our community. We talked about the grants, some mini grants that have been applied for, and we are working through those. And we are still, if I'm remembering, I don't think a decision was made about the gala. I think that's still up in the air, but I have a pretty good suspicion it's going to be canceled as well. And Dr. Eschbach, if you remember differently, please chime in. But that is all I have to report. It was productive, but harder on virtual, I'll tell you. So,
And I concur. That's exactly what you said is exactly correct.
okay.
All right. Thank you. All right, Mr. Young.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'd ask that the following checks be approved for payment. General fund checks dated from March 24th, 2020 for check number 325632 and check 325633 in the amount of $235,214.94. General fund manual checks dated from February 13th, 2020 to March 11th, 2020 for check number 325396 to check 325451. Check 325460 to check 325569 and check 325587 to check 325631 in the amount of $471,406.07. General fund payroll checks dated February 21st, 2020 for check 325452 to check 325459 and checks dated March 6th, 2020 for check 325570 to check 325586 in the amount of $10,888.32. Student activities account checks dated February 13th, 2020 to March 11th, 2020 for check number 513 to check number 521 in the amount of $3,220.17. Capital Reserve Fund checks dated March 2nd, 2020 for check 450 and 451 in the amount of $58,945.03. And food service account checks dated March 24th, 2020 for check number 8713 to check number 8727 in the amount of $92,765.32.
Mr. President, this is Mr. Halaki. I move to pay the district bills.
This is Ann Hoveter. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger,
Yes.
Mr. Halaki,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoveter,
Yes.
Mrs. Markle, oops, sorry. Dr. McLean?
I'm here.
Yes. Oh, Jamie's here.
Okay,
Can you guys hear me?
yeah,
Yep, we hear you.
thank you. Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Yes,
Mr. Seacrest?
Yes.
Motion called.
Mr. President, I ask for acceptance of the March 2020 Treasurer's Report.
Am I muted? I'm sorry. Mr. President, this is Mr. Halaki. I move to accept the treasurer's report.
This is Beth McLean. I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett?
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger?
Yes.
Mr. Halaki?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoveter?
Yes.
Mrs. Markle?
Yes.
Dr. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer?
yes,
Mr. Seacrest?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And lastly, Mr. President, including the packet of reports of various accounts for the board's review.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Young. All right, moving right along, if you'll notice, under each of our committee items, we are going to vote for our items 4 through 8 all as a whole, unless someone has an objection. Okay? So I would accept an motion for that.
Mr. President, this is Mr. Halaki. I move to approve by consent athletic and activities report, budget and finance report, buildings and grounds report, curriculum committee report, and policy committee report items 4 through 8.
This is Ann Hoveter. I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett?
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger?
Yes.
Mr. Halaki?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoveter?
Yes.
Mrs. Markle?
Yes.
Dr. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer?
yes.
Mr. Seacrest?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Thank you. We will now move to our items for board action. And if you may have noticed, Maureen had sent out an addendum for item F for this as well. So I would accept motions for item A.
So moved. That's Beth. Beth, sorry.
This is Ann Hogater. I'll second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, we'll go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger,
Yes.
Mr. Halaki,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoberter,
Yes.
Mrs. Markle,
Yes.
Dr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Rudy,
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Seacrest.
Yes. Okay, I would accept the motion for item B.
Mr. President, this is Mr. Lackey. I'm going to take the next B through F under budget and finance so we can keep moving. Move to approve physical therapy agreement with Therabilities for the 2020-2021 school year.
This is Beth. I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger,
Yes.
Mr. Halaki,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoberter,
Yes.
Mrs. Markle,
Yes.
Dr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Rudy,
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Seacrest.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. President, this is Mr. Halaki. I move to approve the educational agreement with Yellow Breeches Education Center Incorporated for the 2020-2021 school year.
This is Ann Hogater. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger,
Yes.
Mr. Halaki,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoberter,
Yes.
Mrs. Markle,
Yes.
Dr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Rudy,
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Seacrest.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. President, this is Mr. Halaki. I move to approve the tuition agreement with New Story for the rest of the 2019-2020 school year.
This is Alyssa Eichelberger, I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. Hearing none, we'll go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger,
Yes.
Mr. Halaki,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoberter,
Yes.
Mrs. Markle,
Yes.
Dr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Rudy,
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Seacrest.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. President, this is Mr. Halaki. I move to approve the lease purchase agreement with HPI for the purchase of HP ProBook computers.
This is Beth McLean. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger,
Yes.
Mr. Halaki, Mrs. Hoberter,
Yes.
Mrs. Markle,
Yes.
Dr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Rudy,
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Seacrest.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. President, this is Mr. Halaki. I move to approve the agreement for the sale of real estate for the 1060 Ziegler Road, Wellsville, real estate, contract price of $110,000.
This is Ann Hogater. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Young, would you mind chiming in on this final agreement?
Yeah, sure. So I had updated the board last week about where we were at with this. Fortunately, the buyer has looked over the potential covenants that are associated with that building. We added some wording into, it'd be under item 10C, which was the revised page 5 that is in that attachment, basically making reference to said covenants. I've also been in contact with the Preservation PA group, who does have the first right of refusal to purchase that property. They have informed me they have no interest in purchasing that property. I do have to get a letter from them, obviously stating that, but that will not be an issue. It's my understanding that the covenants with the buyer are not an issue. They have seen them. So at this point, once we have an agreement between the two parties, we now need to move forward as we did when we sold the building downtown. There is, we'll have to go in front of a judge so that they are going to be approving that we're selling this for a correct amount of money. I don't see that as being an issue, but that is something that is the next step in order for us to finalize the sale. So I'll be working with Bob Frankhauser, our solicitor, on that. Hopefully be getting in front of a judge here within a month or two, hopefully trying to get this completely finalized by June 30.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion on this matter? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger,
Yes.
Mr. Halaki,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoverder,
Yes.
Mrs. Markle,
Yes.
Dr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Rudy,
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Seacrest.
Yes,
Motion carries.
motion carries. All right, Dr. Eschbach, we're now out of the business of maintaining historical structures, at least the first step. Okay, any items for new business?
Mr. President, I just want to bring back the fact that what I talked about earlier in when we would start back to school, given the fact that we are assuming that schools will reopen in accordance with what the governor has proposed. If there's no objection, we're going to stick with our school calendar, and Tuesday, April 14th would be the first day back. If the board would like to change the calendar, we can have that conversation.
Okay. Do you want to do that now or for future business?
No, we would have to do it now if you wanted to change.
Okay. Does anyone have an objection to just following our this year's school calendar for the remainder of the year once we get back?
No.
No.
No, I do not.
I think it's when you, Dr. Eschbach, if you're going to put this out either on the website or whatever, I think it's worth pointing out that that's a full 4 weeks that the buildings have been since last occupants, which is way beyond the life cycle of coronavirus, you know, from CDC or anybody else, just to maybe give parents and students a little bit of comfort knowing that, you know, we're taking the extra time over Christmas or over Easter break. And that's just extending the period of time the buildings are empty. So I'm not sure if that makes a difference as far as what we need to do to prep them, but it's way beyond anything CDC has put out as far as, you know, what could have a contagious virus living in it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and we really don't have any idea what the end looks like of this closure. I think by us playing it safe and going with the April 14th gives us a little bit extra time. But I will be communicating to families tonight about that, and we'll ask them to keep an eye on the news from the district, because that may change again.
Change again, sure.
Okay. Anything else for new business? All right. Any other public comment that anyone would like to speak to? Okay, hearing none. Any items for future agenda?
It's not even letting me talk.
And Ken,
Okay,
I do think you have public comment.
okay. Go ahead.
After April 14th, say a parent doesn't want their child to go back because this is still going on and you guys go back. Is there going to be something put in place for the parents that don't want to send their kids back to school?
Could you?
Or they have like
systems? Could you state your name and address, please?
Rebecca Long, I am at 26 Pheasant Ridge Road, Dillsburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just speak to the fact that if and when we go back to school, we will be under the same attendance policies that we operate all the time. If parents, however, are concerned, district will definitely work with the parents to address those issues. I think right now we're taking it one day at a time, and I think it's too early to make decisions, for April 14th. But if there's concern after that, and we're opening up again, then you should get in touch with your building principal and start having the conversations with the building principal.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Hearing none, any items for future agendas?
Mr. President, this is Mr. Lackey. Just to point out before we sign off, I think we are going to have an executive session afterwards.
Yeah, I will mention that before we go off for sunshine. All right, I would accept a motion for adjournment.
Mr. Rudy, I so move.
Van Hoveter, I'll second.
Motion second, any discussion? Go to our roll call vote.
Mr. Barnett,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichelberger,
Yes.
Mr. Halaki,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoverder,
Yes.
Mrs. Markle,
Yes.
Dr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Rudy,
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Seacrest.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, I apologize. There's one thing I did want to mention. I did speak with Britta from the PSBA, who is leading our search for Dr. Eschbach's replacement. As you've seen by some of the emails, we've had a good response to this opening. Unfortunately, over the last 2 days, though, the responses have stopped drastically. I assume it's only because of the governor extending this time period that we're going to be down. She's seeing that across the state with all open positions. So her recommendation is that we continue with our plan as stated, and that would close the applications on March 30th. And then we will be meeting at our scheduled time. I believe our first search meeting will be April 7th, and we will be doing that virtually as well. Okay. Our next committee meeting is April 21st. Hopefully we'll be face-to-face with each other. And we do have a board meeting, which will be done virtually the 26th of this month for budget meeting. Okay. So, and also we will be meeting in executive session immediately after this meeting for personnel discussions. So, board members, you can sign off of this and go on to your 7:30 meeting link. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.